Good morning, everyone. This is Julie McDonald of Microcom Technologies, and I'd like to thank all of you for attending today's webinar with PoE Texas. Today's host is our good friend, Tyler Andrews, and he is their CEO and will be presenting today. If anyone has any questions, please submit them in the question box, and Tyler will be able to answer them at the end of today's presentation. Tyler, thank you so much for being with us again today. We're looking forward to what you've got to share with us. I'm finished for now. Please go ahead and take it on over.
Thank you, Julie, and thank you for that introduction and giving us another opportunity to present on Power over Ethernet to your Microcom audience. We very much appreciate it. Today, the team here at PoE Texas is going to answer a question that has puzzled our industry for some time. Is PoE lighting cheaper than traditional AC lighting? In case you didn't know, PoE Texas is one of the premier Power over Ethernet lighting and automation manufacturers in the world. Our solution, Denton Digital Building Intelligence, allows you to provide power and controls to your lights and building automation through a single network cable. Let me show you what I mean. We have a lot of owners and developers interested in PoE lighting as a technology, and inevitably, their first question is, how much more does PoE lighting cost than traditional AC lighting? Fortunately for us, Resorts World in Las Vegas asked their electrical contractor to find out. And I'm going to bring on Joshua to explain what they found.
Hello everyone, my name is Joshua Lemus. I am a technical project manager here at PoE Texas. Today, I'm presenting a recent study completed by Resorts World comparing the costs between a PoE lighting system and a traditional AC lighting system. What we learned from this study may surprise you. The most common question we receive from potential customers is, what does a PoE lighting system cost compared to traditional AC lighting systems? Frankly, that's a very difficult question to answer for two reasons. One, normally projects don't carry a design for both PoE and AC lighting all the way to the bid phase. And two, owners and contractors don't like to publicly share bid data. Fortunately for us, Resorts World performed an exhaustive electrical contractor-led analysis of the total costs, comparing a managed PoE lighting system to an unmanaged traditional AC lighting system. And most importantly, they were willing to share those results with us. So let's take a look at the details of that study. This study covered an open floor plan convention area that required monochromatic downlights, grid-based lighting, and channel RGBW lighting. The traditional AC-based design provided the lights with basic dimming and on-off switches. The PoE design, on the other hand, allowed for the integration of touchscreen controllers featuring customized group controls, high-fidelity dimming, scene creation, scheduling, automation, and remote management. So let's put the cost comparison up side by side so you can see the results. The bottom line is that a traditional AC system with dimmers and switches will cost Resorts World $274,984. Please note, this excludes any managed control system. This will be your basic traditional AC lighting system. Power over Ethernet, on the other hand, with a fully managed control system, came in at $34,000 less. So yes, a PoE Texas managed lighting system costs less than your basic traditional AC system. The key finding of this study is that Resorts World could have a managed lighting solution that would cost less than a basic traditional AC lighting system. So let's take this one step further. What would have been a true apples to apples comparison, Resorts World actually shared with us they would be expected to pay over $100,000 more to procure an additional lighting control system for their traditional AC lighting, which would mean that in a face-to-face comparison, PoE actually saves over $134,000. That's close to 50% savings over what Resorts World would have expected to spend. PoE actually saves on installation costs by removing the need for conduit. Low voltage lighting systems use 60% less copper and save 30% on operational expenditures by eliminating inefficient AC to DC conversion at each light. Best of all, the Denton DBI PoE solution has controls built in, so there is no need to procure another $100,000 lighting control system. Let me reiterate that the owner did not accept lower standard fixtures when comparing both designs. In fact, both invoices contain the same light fixture. PoE simply replaced the drivers on their selected fixtures. So while traditional lighting would have standard dimming and wall switches, PoE actually improved on the design and added features like remote management, the ability to create customized scenes, optimize site usage data, all allowing for scheduling and automation, allowing for precision dimming, real-time energy consumption feedback, and remote service assistance. All in all, this study highlights there are clear benefits to the Denton DBI solution. It's cost-effective, providing real savings over traditional AC systems, while adding built-in controls, robust automation capabilities, material cost reduction, and features an array of integration options. So we'd like to thank Resorts World for making this information available to share with you. We would not be able to share this compelling study without their willingness to share a competitive advantage to others. We're proud to work in an industry with leaders like Resorts World to bring the most advanced technology to the hospitality industry. So what will you do with this new information? If you're ready to make the change for yourself, let me share with you a few ways PoE Texas can help take you through the next steps. Let us provide you with a proposal to match your project and marketing material similar to this webinar to share with your stakeholders. We can provide you with design resources or help you create your own PoE design. With years of experience, we know you need dedicated people, not just chatbots, to help take your project from concept to completion. We provide rapid quotes to meet all of your deadlines. At PoE Texas, we support your project from concept to completion and beyond. So get in contact with us and discover how PoE Texas can support your project for years to come. Whether it be in remote support, technology integration, site checkup, or configuration backup, we're there to help. So send us your design, see how much you'll save using PoE lighting. Let us know when you're ready to take the next step and plan for the future and move into the PoE lighting and automation space. Don't forget to visit our website, check out some of our recent case studies, browse through the Learning Center. Chances are we have a site similar to what you're seeking to accomplish in your upcoming project. Again, I'm Joshua Lemus, and we appreciate you joining today. We look forward to working with you. Thank you again for joining.
So when you're ready to learn more, we have live PoE experts right here in Austin, Texas to answer any questions you may have and help you price your PoE lighting project. You can reach us at success@poetexas.com or talk to a real person at 512-479-0317. We look forward to talking with you and finding out about your project. And with that, I'll remind everyone that you can find more on these topics in our technical center on our website, on YouTube, or by speaking to your own PoE Texas expert. Thank you for your time, Julie, and thank you for inviting us to participate.
Thank you so much, Tyler, for that wonderful presentation. We're very happy to have you back with us again today. And let's get started with questions. And I do have some from the audience. So first one, here we go. How does PoE lighting systems integrate with building automation and control systems?
Ooh, that's a fantastic question. So the way that we work with building automation and control systems is through an open API. So we have an API, which is the common communication protocol for internet that lets other control systems speak to our control system. So some very common ones, Control 4, we've worked with Control 4, we've worked with Crestron. The tougher question is, how do we speak directly with building automation systems like BACnet or LAN? There are conversions that you do. You have to get certain hardware, make certain data points available. We can definitely talk to building automation systems. Or at a very basic level too, we also have a very basic level. If you don't want to have language communication, we have a range of inputs and outputs that can communicate with a separate building automation system. So preferred API, BACnet, LAN, customized systems, or all the way down to the very simple input-output communication.
Tyler, thank you so much for that. Next question here for you. What's the lifespan of PoE lighting components compared to traditional lighting?
Ooh, another great question. So one thing that we always point out is that the part of the lighting system that has the shortest lifespan is the AC to DC conversion. And that's when you buy your LED bulb at Home Depot or Lowe's, they have an AC to DC converter, and the LED has 20, 30-year, 50-year life. I mean, people really haven't been able to figure out what the life of the LED is. But the conversion from AC to DC is your shortest lifespan product. And the benefit of using Power over Ethernet for your lighting is that we get rid of, or we take that AC to DC conversion and we centralize it. So we centralize it back in the network switch. And in our case, even more, we take it even further down to a power supply specific for the PoE network. The power supply that we provide is network managed, front loading, hot swappable. So when you think about the lifespan of the product, once the PoE and the LED lights are installed, 5, 10, 15, 20 years, the lifespan is very good. These are designed to be long-lasting, durable devices. And the one component that is most likely to fail, that has the highest failure rate, is at that power supply. We make it fused, hot swappable, front loaded, and managed to make that much easier for you to manage. And frankly, we've had those in service. We have, I know in particular, we've had 5, 6, 7 years product running, no issue. So and they're still running today. So lifespan, expect the lifespan to be equal to or much longer than your current LED option.
Thank you so much for that, Tyler. We're going to go right into the next question. Are there any specific certifications or standards that PoE lighting systems adhere to?
Ooh, another great question. And this is actually important. As you're out there looking for a PoE lighting system, a good PoE lighting system, and one you should adhere to definitely, is IEEE 802.3 standards. The reason why I point that out is there are some companies out there that are selling lighting that runs on network cable, but it's not IEEE, it's something they own or something proprietary. Be very cautious about that. The reason why I say that is because if you pick a proprietary standard and for whatever reason it doesn't work out, parts go missing or parts fail 4 or 5 years down the road, if it's not IEEE standard, you're kind of on your own to make sure you get something to work with that, whatever new protocol, finding new lights, new drivers, and everything for it. And then the other thing you should be looking for is PoE consortium members. So PoE Texas is a founding member of the PoE consortium, and that is all the major lighting manufacturers, designers, installers. It's an industry organization that works on industry standards, uniformity of training, quality of installation. Basically, the goal of that organization is to provide an industry guaranteed performance level. So look for PoE Consortium. The PoE Consortium is continuing to issue new standards, design levels, and I would say keep an eye out for those, because as the PoE Consortium issues those would be the ones you want to work with for your installation.
Thank you so much, Tyler. Appreciate that. Next question here for you. How do PoE lighting systems handle power outages or backup power scenarios?
That's a great question, and one that's also tied to emergency lighting. All reputable PoE lighting manufacturers have a way they comply with the NFPA 70 standard for emergency lighting. NFPA is the National Fire Protection Association. They have a standard. If you're in a commercial building, you have to have so much light for so much time, even in case of a power outage, for proper exiting of the building. It's 90 minutes. All PoE lighting manufacturers that are reputable, like PoE Texas, do have a standard, so that what happens if main power goes out, the emergency lighting system comes on. There are distributed systems, there's centralized systems, there's hybrid centralized distributed systems. Talk to your manufacturer, ask about that. So that's kind of industry minimum. You have to have that, otherwise you can't really go into commercial building or commercial buildings. Code officials won't allow it. When you go beyond that, one of the things that's unique or interesting about Power over Ethernet as a lighting system is you can very affordably go beyond that. So the industry minimum, the NFPA minimum, is so many foot candles on just the exit path to get out of the building. But with the PoE lighting system, you can go with UPS systems that are very common and affordable to expand how much of your lighting system remains on in case of a power outage. And we know of one hotel in Fort Worth, for example, they put in a battery backup system that covers the entire hotel for a minimum like an hour. And that means if they ever lost power, the whole lighting, the systems in the building, they all remain on for an hour, which I thought was really cool. And I may have that hour wrong. They may have changed that or upped it by now. But adding a UPS or getting additional backup time is very easy to do. It's a very common and well-known technology, and we encourage it, that people consider how much additional time they want to have for their system to remain on.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Tyler. A few more questions here. Here we go. Are there any plans or developments in PoE lighting technology that you have in the works, perhaps, that we should be aware of?
Oh, somebody wants to get the secret sauce or the secret technology. So
Whatever you
I
can
will
share.
share a few things. Yeah, I will share a few things that are going on in the PoE technology space that are public, and then of course we have a few other things that we keep in our back pocket. But some things that are unique that you probably should know about are, number one, because we're on a network, the integration with other types of devices is actually really powerful, and it's an area not many people know about. And I'll give one example. We did a Midas brake shop in Philadelphia, and my team always asks me about this. They're like, Tyler, why do you keep talking about this 3,000 square foot Midas brake shop we did in Philadelphia? Why don't you talk about the 2 million square foot resort we're doing? Or why don't you talk about the healthcare facilities we're working on? And I like to point out to people, I tell them about the 3,000 square feet because we were affordable, the contractor made money, and the owner was blown away with what they got at 3,000 square feet. So if we can be affordable and be profitable at 3,000 square feet, you could make any project work. So in this case, this Philadelphia project, they actually used their built-in security cameras. They had security cameras for the facility. They used the security cameras as motion detection and light enabling devices. So a good security camera these days has AI detection on it, so you can tell the difference between a car and a person. And what we could do at this facility is on a schedule, so during certain hours of the night, we would talk to the security cameras at the facility to find out if a person was approaching the building and use that to dim up lighting as they approach the building. And what the owner loved about that is he wasn't trying to integrate a PIR sensor. The security camera gave a much better, higher resolution decision on whether a person was approaching the building and use that for security to trigger lighting. Happened like that. So things like that, integration with gunshot detection, security cameras, wireless buttons, any kinds of input devices, so many different things make your building control work. And people really love that and are just absolutely floored to find out they're not having to pay for a lot of expensive hardware. The data doesn't even have to leave their site. It all stays within their local area network. People really like that. So that's number one. Number two, one of the things that's unique about PoE Texas is we do touchscreen controllers. They're drag and drop. They're very easy to make. And those touchscreen controllers can run on any Android or Apple device. And customers love that because, you know, if you're trying to do anything more complicated than one button on or one button off, it really, like, people come to us and like, I want this 16 button thing and I want all these buttons to do this and this and this and this and this and then you have basically you have to build a map on the wall, and you're buying these customized, custom engraved 6-button switches that do everything under the sun. And we were looking at it, we're like, well, you know, for the same price, why don't you have a customized, we could just put a touch screen on the wall and you can customize it to whatever you want. And oh, by the way, you could recustomize it a month from now or change the buttons that you want, and it's still live. And you don't have to pay to re-engrave it, or somebody doesn't like that one function. Because that was actually one of the big challenges, is people wanted to show how smart their systems were. We're in these conversations about some extremely complicated button situations of push and hold. How do you engrave it? Custom labeling. And we said, just make a touchscreen, or just put in a touchscreen. And we sell everything from a smart light switch replacement up to bigger tablet devices. And customers really love that because now they can customize, show how smart and how brilliant that system is that they put in and why they're technologically advanced. And frankly, we did it for either the same cost or less than custom engraved, purpose-built light switches that get very expensive if you're only buying a handful of them. So that's number two. And then number three, what ties into that, where that gets really valuable, is we have integrated software alarms. What integrated software alarms allow you to do is you can take any input, a smoke detection, a gunshot detection, a button press, like an emergency button press, and create a system override alarm that can change lights, lock doors, unlock doors. It sends texts, it sends emails, it presents video, customized text on touchscreens, wherever you're running that touchscreen app. It presents all that media and content, and we're presenting that now to places like schools, military facilities, where they want to be able to really control. But imagine if you could have your building where in a fire situation, you could have a red light path light up to show the exit path. You could have touchscreen displays showing your exit path, and then anybody who's registered in the building gets a text to tell them, oh, by the way, there's a fire, you need to exit. And then at the same time, if, for example, you're in the Midwest, you get you have like a tornado alarm. Let's say we could integrate to the Weather Channel with an easy API that calls for, in case of a tornado warning, all of a sudden you have blue lights that indicate the safe zones where you could stay in a tornado. You present a video or some content on the screen that says tornado alarm, tornado warning in effect, seek shelter. Blue lights indicate where the shelters are. And oh, by the way, you get a text and an email. So all those types of features now, you know, they've always been available. You could do those with any set of technology, but for us, it's 15 minutes of worth of programming as opposed to $30,000 and 6 months worth of integration to achieve it with current levels of technology. And that's that's the magical sauce that PoE lighting being on a network can achieve that you can't get with existing technology.
Tyler, thank you so much for that valuable and important information. It's just greatly appreciated. Couple more questions for you. Here we go with the next one. What is the recommended cat cable for this system?
Ooh, a very good question, and one people ask often. Um, you could either choose Cat 5e or Cat 6. PoE lighting systems really don't need the benefits that you get with like Cat 7 or Cat 8. So I would definitely put Cat 7, Cat 8 off. You could decide you really want to do that, but the install costs go up significantly. Cat 6 is really kind of the sweet spot. And here's why. More important than the Cat cable specifically, because Cat cable, by definition, when you say Cat 5 or Cat 6, it is really defined by TIA for the data throughput capacity of the wires. And what that means, you can get a Cat 6 cable that can do a Cat 6 cable that'll do gigabit data, which is kind of the standard for Cat 6, but it can be 26 gauge or 24 gauge or 32 gauge. It's very small wires. When you're doing a PoE lighting job, your best bet is to look for 23 gauge or larger, and the gauges go down. So 23, 22, 21, you want to look for gauges. Cat 6, very often, standard, roll it out of the box, is 23 gauge wire. That's what you're looking for when you're doing a PoE lighting system, is 23 gauge or higher. There are some manufacturers that do make a Cat 5e with 23 gauge wire, which works great for PoE, and I'd recommend it. They often sell it as a 100-watt PoE solution, but look at the gauge, and then Cat 5e or Cat 6 works fine for either case.
Very good. Thank you so much for all that valuable information. This is great Q&A today. I'm loving it. Couple more questions here for you. Can the system be installed by data technicians and electricians?
Another really interesting question. When we speak to installers about it, we encourage them to choose the best party. And so here's a couple of things to consider. Number one, check with your local code official, your local authority having jurisdiction, who's required. I'd say in about 90% of the jurisdictions in North America, you do not have to have a licensed electrician to physically set a light fixture. There are some, and so check with your authority having jurisdiction. Do you have to have a licensed electrician physically place the light fixture? And then in a few authorities having jurisdiction, code offices, you have to have a license to even run network cable. So double check that with your code official, your code office, just to double check those details. Do you need to have a license to run network cable? You do not have to have a licensed electrician to run PoE cable. And depending on the jurisdiction, you may not have to have a licensed electrician actually physically set the light fixture. So in most, in a large share of cases, you don't have to have a licensed electrician. However, practically speaking, we encourage contractors and owners to make sure you have somebody who is knowledgeable and qualified to do it. A licensed electrician is qualified and knowledgeable, and should be knowledgeable as long as he's a licensed electrician with good credentials, industry credentials, about how to manage and install a lighting project. So we embrace and work with electricians all the time. So if you're an electrician, I would say don't be afraid to jump in and try this. If you are a low voltage installation contractor or an owner, just make sure you're talking to somebody who does low voltage, who has some familiarity with lighting, because you need to know light fixture height, proper mounting techniques. You do need to have some experience with lighting so that this isn't something where I just walk out onto the street and point to some dude and say, hey, you come in here, you're going to wire up, program, and manage an entire automated lighting system for the smart building. Doesn't work out. So it depends. Practically speaking, you want to work with qualified, knowledgeable individuals to make sure you're getting a good install. Does that mean your knowledgeable individual must perforce, by law, have a license to install electricity in my municipality? Probably not. But like I said, double check. Some places they do require you to have a licensed electrician and physically set the light fixture, and then you can have a low voltage guy doing the network cabling. But by code, you don't have to have a licensed electrician to pull and land PoE cabling in most jurisdictions.
Got it. Thank you so much, Tyler. Last question here for you. Can you remind us where PoE Texas products are manufactured?
Ooh, another very good question, and one that applies specifically if you're working for government and institutional facilities. Come to us at Double Check if you have specific Made in America requirements. We do have ways to do Made in America. Our LED drivers are made in America. The software and control system is made in America. We do occasionally source non-made in American components for some of our switches and some of our power supplies. We can source in North America if that's a requirement. Having said that, I would point out, even Apple will tell you, the knowledge of how to do good networking hardware and do it affordably, making devices. There are a lot of places in the world that have that expertise, and we do source some of our components out of China. So if that's an issue, bring it up to us. We do have ways around that. You could say we need to be made in America, but to be affordably competitive at 3,000 square feet, with a traditional commercial grade system, you almost have to have some overseas components. Otherwise, you just won't be competitive at the small scale. Now, that doesn't mean we can't go made in America. We love made in America. Like I said, our drivers are made here, but we do have a mixed bag of where our sources are to be as affordable as possible, but we can support made in America.
Tyler, thank you so much for that. It was very interesting to hear. I didn't know a lot of what you just explained to us. Thank you. And thank you to everybody for joining today's webinar. And if anyone has any further questions, of course, please feel free to contact your sales rep or email us at sales@microcomtech.com. And if you wish to view any of the products mentioned or shown today, please remember that this presentation has been recorded and we can upload it to our Microcom YouTube channel later today. And of course, if any of those questions that you may have, if you email us or call me or get in touch with me, I can certainly reach Tyler as well. And thank you, Tyler, for all of your resourceful information for us. And I'll be reaching out to you to see what we could do, perhaps Q1 in 2024. So until then, thank you, everybody. Have a fantastic day, Tyler. Have a wonderful day as well. Bye-bye, everyone.